Hey everyone, I'm Jacob from Service Photo, and I'm going to show you what's in my camera bag. I'm not really a camera bag kind of person. I much prefer to just go out with a camera over my shoulder, but whatever. I use a mixture of film and digital cameras. The Leica Q original, or sometimes referred to as the Type 116. It's a 24 megapixel full frame point and shoot camera. Probably the most expensive point and shoot camera I've ever bought. It is a fantastic camera. It was released in 2015, or was announced in 2015, so for a camera that's almost 10 years old, it is still unbelievably great. I've shot everything from weddings to events and just regular kind of street stuff. This camera can really do it all. It's a 28mm Summilux lens, and you have a built-in macro. The thing I love about this camera, obviously the lens is just, there's nothing else like it. This lens, if you were to buy it in a Leica M mount, it's like a $7,000 or $8,000 lens, but when this was released, you got a 24 megapixel full frame body with that lens with a built-in macro feature for under $5,000. Obviously, the Qs have gone up in price since then. The Leica Q, to me, is a camera that once I put it in my hand and I shot with it, looked at the photos I got from it, I knew immediately that I wanted to own one. So when I had the opportunity to get one used, I jumped right on it. This has been in my bag every day for the last, probably 4 years now, and it has just been fantastic. The pictures out of this, the color, everything is just how I want it, and I don't have to touch anything, which is not something I've ever experienced with another camera. All the pictures you're gonna see throughout this video that have been taken with the Q are just straight out of camera, no editing, no color, whatever. They are straight out of camera. For my film camera here, I have a Leica M7. Leica M7 is a camera that took me quite a while to come to a conclusion on as to what camera I want for a 35mm. I started using a 35mm SLR back in high school, and my first Leica was a Leica M2. And from the M2, I moved to a Zeiss Icon, which is essentially an M7, but it's made by Zeiss. And then after using the Icon for a few years, I ended up on the Leica M7 because it is just the most technologically advanced film M camera Leica has ever made. You have aperture priority, you have TTL, and that's really it, but that's a lot for a Leica M camera. It is unbelievably well made. This is my go-to lens for almost everything. And the lens on here is a 35mm Summicron spherical. It is a fantastic lens for portraits, street, landscapes, events, and it is just unbelievably sharp. I use this with adapters on other digital cameras for things, and it just has a very unique look to it. Neither of these cameras would be a popular choice for an event photographer, someone shooting a wedding, someone shooting an opening or something, but I've used these cameras for both of those types of events, and the size, the compactness, the simplicity of either the function of the camera or the menu of the camera, button placement, all of that. These are very simplified cameras. I've found them both very easy cameras to use in a commercial type setting as well as an artistic setting, if I'm just shooting for myself or if I'm shooting for a job. The pictures out of this, the color, everything is just how I want it, and I don't have to touch anything, which is not something I've ever experienced with another camera. There's always some level of something that I feel needs tweaking, but mostly I stick with either a 28 on this or 35 on this. But there are some times when you just want to really smooth out that background, you know, be it for a portrait or something that's just a little farther away and you might want to crop in, and for that I have a Carl Zeiss 50-1.4 Sonnar C. This is a modern lens for Leica M. It was released in like early 2000s, kind of when this was released. This was released in 2002. This one's probably from 2004-ish if I had to guess. These were made for the Zeiss Icon, the camera I previously had before the M7. And this is a modern housing with glass that is based off a very, very old optic design. So while it's a new lens, it has a very vintage kind of look. It has really nice vignetting, which is not a sentence I ever thought I would say, but it's a very nice lens. Not unbelievably sharp at 1.5, but it does the job. And I've used this on obviously film cameras as well as on digital cameras. I've shot entire portrait sessions with just this lens. And of course, something very important, film. I typically carry color. Sometimes during the winter months I will exclusively shoot black and white, but I've been on quite a color kick recently, so Portra 400 is pretty much my go-to. It's a popular choice. The latitude it gives you is, I think, unmatched to a lot of other color negative films that are out there right now. Portra 400 is definitely, I think, the most popular film that we sell here, and there's a good reason. It's certainly expensive, but you get what you pay for. You know, you compare it to your Kodak Golds or basically any other, what you might call a drugstore film, the Fujicolor 200. Not to hate on it, but it is a really great film. It's incredibly sharp, scans very well, prints very well. Portra 400 is definitely, I think, the most popular film that we sell here, and there's a good reason. It's certainly expensive, but you get what you pay for. You know, you compare it to your Kodak Golds or basically any other, what you might call a drugstore film, the Fujicolor 200. Not to hate on it, but it is a really great film. It's incredibly sharp, scans very well, prints very well. I hope you all enjoyed seeing what is in my camera bag. I'd really love at another point to talk about this camera more in depth, because there are a lot of people interested in the Q, Q2, Q3 cameras, and if you all have any questions, leave them below in the comments, and as they like to say, like and subscribe.